Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexie and today's video we're just gonna jump right into. I thought I would do something new for me. This isn't new for YouTube or anything like that. This is new for me because I'm starting to try to read more, giving myself goals and stuff. So I thought maybe giving some advice on how to read more if you want to. Just what I do would, just to help maybe, because who knows, you get into these reading slumps where, trust me, I've been in reading slumps before where I haven't read in a very long time, and then there's times where I'm just like read, where I'm just finishing books really fast. So I thought I would come on and make a video and give you recommendations on tips or ways to maybe read more. So my thing that I've actually been holding myself accountable is, if you have a Goodreads account, you can create a challenge for the year. And that is, you can put how many books you want to read in the year. So I have on here, I have set the goal of 100 books for the year. It says I'm 13 books. I've read 13 books. My first 2 months were pretty slow because we moved and I had visitors from out of town and stuff like that. But I am 5 books behind on my schedule. 5 books. Yesterday was 4 books. Holy jamoly, I better catch up. Okay, so I am 13% done with my goal. So I have 13 books read, and this goal kind of keeps me, or this thing keeps me like on track, and it says, hey, you're not reading the amount of books you want to read, let's go. So and then it also keeps track of all the books I've read and all of my reviews and stuff like that. So I love the fact that this holds you accountable. You can see where you need to be, what, and all that stuff on your reading challenge or your reading goal for the year. I love that. Okay, my next tip is setting maybe a page number, or not even a page number. Maybe set yourself a time limit of what you need to read. Some kind of goal is really nice. Me personally, I try to read roughly about 100 pages a day. Depending on the book I'm reading, if it's a really good one, I'm into it, I can blow through it like that and probably surpass that in no time. If it's a slower book, it does take me a while, but it pushes me to finish that book, because if I'm not liking it, for example, I just finished Girl A by Abigail Dean, and that one I'm glad I had my goal because I was not getting into that book. It was a slow read, and I was like, no, you need to read the 100 pages because you need to get through this book and you have a goal to finish, to accomplish. So the 100 pages for me is a great one. But if you feel like 100 pages is too much, do 25, do 50, do whatever you think. Or if you're only allowed, or you can only allot yourself an hour of the day, give yourself just the hour. Make sure you read for an hour. Put your phone down, put it in another room, turn it off, something. Give yourself an hour. If you cannot set a goal for pages, do an hour or 30 minutes, whatever you can allot yourself, do it. Having that secondary goal for me has helped a lot, because I'm like, oh, well, I need to get those pages in, because I know reading for me, it's just very, very calming. I love it. I can just sit down and jump into a book, and that's my time. That's me time, and I love it. So honestly, that is another goal. Now, if you find you don't have the time to actually sit down and read, whether it is a time goal or a page goal, then try audiobooks. I recently started getting back into them. I was really into them last year, and then, I think it was 2019, I was into them. And then the last year, I kind of took a break. But this year, I picked them back up because we moved into a new house, and I'm just busy. I have a toddler, he's 4, I'm just busy. So a lot of times I find that I'm constantly cleaning or doing laundry or cooking or whatever. So I'm like, there's a lot of time that I'm working and doing things, but it's busy work, things that I don't really need to think about. So I put my AirPods in and, well, at least one, so I can still listen to whoever needs me. I put an AirPod in and I listen to my books. I have finished way too many, honestly, compared to how many books I would finish if I was just reading. So the audiobooks are a great alternative if you don't have a lot of time to actually sit down and read. Listening to books while you're driving, while you're cleaning, while you're cooking, while you're working out, all of the things that you give all of those hours to a day can be used for reading. You can just listen to the books. So audiobooks are a big help for really, really busy people that do not have time to sit down and read an actual book. So try that as well, because those are great. There are multiple different options out there for your audiobook, so pick the one that's best for you. I prefer Audible. I love it. That's the one I use. Plus now they have a Plus membership where you can get certain books for free. You don't have to use a credit. So those are a great option too. Okay, next, pick a book or books that you enjoy. Don't just pick a book because somebody said, oh, you have to read it. Like, I can tell you to go read Blood and Ash from Blood and Ash, but if you're not into fantasy, then don't listen to that recommendation, because if you don't enjoy it, then you don't enjoy it. If you like young adult and you're an adult, who cares? Go read it. If you like romance or rom-coms, go read them. I don't even care if it's the smutty books. If you like those, you know, those books with all the sex scenes in them, who cares? That's what you like. So choose what you want. It doesn't matter what other people say. Read whatever you want. Classics, go for it. You want to read fantasy? Do it. So that's up to you. Pick books that you want. That's what I would recommend. And you know what? If you feel like you're stuck in a rut because you're just reading the same books, which I found myself I was doing. I was reading all romance, only romance. And I was just like, okay, kind of stopped because I'm like, I'm kind of getting tired of them. So I started branching into different genres, and I recently started getting into fantasy, and I have been loving it. So like I said, read books that make you happy. That's going to be the best way to read, because if you try to force yourself to read books that everybody else tells you to read, then you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to want to read. So my next step, or my next piece of advice is, if you're not liking something, then don't read it. Now, I personally don't do this, so it's kind of a do as I say, not as I do. I do not DNF, or I do not finish a book. I don't not finish a book. However you say that. I do not DNF books. That's me personally. But if you just cannot get into the book, then don't force yourself, because then you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna hate it. You're not gonna want to read it. So just don't force yourself to do it, because you're not gonna want to read it. You're not gonna want to finish it, and it's just gonna feel like a chore. So don't let reading be a chore. So just, if it's not good, put it down. Put it down. But if you're like me and you have to finish it because you feel like you're gonna miss something, then go ahead and finish it, or put it down, read another book, and come back to it later. Whichever you prefer, whatever's good for you. That's what you need to remember, is how it makes you feel. Don't make reading feel like something you have to do. Make it something you want to do because you enjoy it. Okay. And then next, I think my biggest piece of advice is, you can have your to-be-R stack. You can have your to-be-read list. You can. But you don't necessarily have to follow it. I'm a mood reader. Sometimes I want fantasy, sometimes I want romance, sometimes I want a suspense or a thriller. I kind of go based on what my mood is. Like, I'm looking at my to-be-read list right now, and a royal holiday is sitting here. It's going to be the middle of March, and I kind of want to read a holiday book. Why? Because you know what? The cover looks really pretty. Simple as that. And you know what? I live in Southern California, where I really did not get a winter this year. So maybe I want to jump into a holiday book. Who cares? Who cares if you're reading it in the middle of March or in the summer or in December? Who cares? Do what you want to do. So you can have your TBR list, but don't hold yourself accountable to that. If you see something on there that you want to read, great, go for it. Don't limit yourself to this is my next read, this is my next read. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the row. Have all the books that you have available and choose from there and choose what sounds the best to you. If you get a new book and that's the one you want to read before anything else on your shelf, then read it. Read the one that sounds interesting, that's actually drawing you in, that you want to read. Because again, do not choose a book or do not feel like you have to choose a book just because that's next on your list. Because again, it's going to feel like you have to read, it's going to be a chore. So just don't hold yourself to these unrealistic categories or steps or anything that you have to do. Don't hold yourself to these unrealistic standards that a lot of people have on reading. There are some people that read a whole bunch, like me. I can read 100 pages a day, but then there's some days that I don't even want to read at all and I don't pick up a book. So that's the thing, is you can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And it depends on your book. If you're in this slump where you're like, I don't want to read this book, again, put it down. Change a book, change genres, do all that. You know, go look on for recommendations. There's some great recommendations on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. There's some great recommendations. Watch videos. I've been really into reading like TBRs and watching videos on people's TBRs and what they've recently read, because I start getting ideas. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Like, I don't have that on my list or in my TBR, but I should probably pick that up because that sounds pretty good. I'm going to throw it there. So then I give myself multiple options on what I can read and what's available for me to read. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling, but mood read. Choose what sounds the best for you at that time. And I think my last bit of advice, because I really don't know how long this video has been or how long it's going, my last piece of advice is kind of make a schedule for yourself. Try to decide or try to figure out where or when the best time is for you to pick up a book and read. Is it first thing in the morning with your coffee or your tea or your water, whatever you drink? Is it at night when everybody else is asleep and you have some quiet time and you sit by your lamp with your nice hot glass of tea? Is that the time you like to read? Or are you someone that just picks up a book and reads whenever? That's me. I literally, if I'm waiting at a doctor's office or at the pharmacy or literally sitting in my car waiting for something, I pick up my book and read, whether it's 5, 10, 15, whatever, however long I get those pages in, because I tend to really, really enjoy books and I just want to continue reading them no matter when or how long I get. So pick a time roughly that's best for you, because like I said, I like to read all throughout the day when I can, but I also really enjoy starting out when I get up in the first thing in the morning. I make sure my son has his breakfast or whatever he wants, his milk or whatever he starts his day off with, and I let the dogs outside, I start my coffee, and I pick up my book. I get, a couple chapters in, however many pages I want to get in. I start my day by reading. And then before I go to bed, I read some more. It just depends on each day how much I want to read at the time. But I do know that I start my day reading and I end my day reading. And then whatever's in between, it just depends on the day. Sometimes I'm super busy and I don't get to really read during the day. And then there's some days where, like today, my husband took my son and I have a whole bunch of free time. So when I'm done filming, I'm going to be picking up my book because I finally picked up Bridgerton and that's what I'm reading right now. I'm almost halfway through and I'm going to be picking it up and I'm going to be trying to read it as much as possible because it's quiet and I can. So pick a good routine or start a good routine for you, whether it's 20 minutes only in the morning with coffee or tea or it's an hour before bed. It doesn't matter. That's completely up to you. So pick a routine that's good for you. So those are, I would say, some of my biggest recommendations for having time or making time to read more. Just honestly, summing it all up, read what is interesting to you, what you want to read, when you want to read it, how you want to read it, whether it's Kindle, actual hard copy, or audiobook. Do what makes you happy, and that way you'll enjoy reading and it won't be a chore. So I hope this helped. If it did, please let me know, or if you have any recommendations as well, please leave them down in the comments. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, or you know what, leave it down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, I would love for you to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.